Thanks, guys. Well, this week we are talking about a topic we all love to hate: celebrity scandal. It seems like we hear about celebrities almost every day, so much to the point where we're not even surprised by their outlandish behavior. But does that mean it's acceptable? Are celebrities forgiven far too easily because they're, well, celebrities? Or should their personal lives and their professional lives be separate? We tackled this issue on this week's edition of Street Talkers. Chris Brown, Charlie Sheen, Michael Vick, and Tiger Woods, made almost more famous for their scandals, yet almost all right back on track for success. Chris Brown, who pled guilty to felony assault on former girlfriend Rihanna, won a Grammy for Best R&B Album and performed twice just 3 years after his horrific crime. Tiger Woods had his personal life exposed after numerous counts of infidelity with scandalous women, but is now back on track playing golf and most recently the PGA Tour. And of course, Charlie Sheen, a man who seems trouble is his middle name. From cocaine and drug addiction to domestic violence, Sheen's crazy antics were headline gold. And even after everything, Sheen seems to be winning, with a new sitcom, Anger Management, premiering in June. So are there standards to what the public can forgive? What is the standard for what should be acceptable?
I think it's the same standards as what could be forgiven for us or for your spouse, for your boyfriend, for your friend. They're humans too, and I think that the fact that they get such a supernatural kind of glow about them isn't right, because we're all human, and the same things that are wrong for us should be wrong for them.
Yeah, I think they're people too, at an extent. Like, they're going to live life, so they're going to make their choices. Should they be held to a higher standard in a sense? I guess so, because they're always in the media. They're always being exploited in some kind of ways. Everybody makes mistakes, and them being in the nature of a media, their mistakes are perpetuated, I guess, into the real world a lot more than I would say a regular person. So
I can understand why people are so hesitant to, be fans of them. Like Charlie Sheen and Chris Brown and Michael Vick, they had a really strong fan base before these scandals came about. So I think because of that, a lot more people are willing to forgive them, and Tiger Woods as well. That's a big one. I'm a big sports guy, so I'm willing to forgive some athletes because they're important to the sport and they're important to society as well.
Michael Vick is a tough one for me. The Chris Brown thing, I hate to say it, but sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire. You never know what was going on. But on the same side, I do believe everyone deserves a second chance, especially in the limelight. Unfortunately, they are going to lose a lot of fans regardless of what they do, but they do deserve a second chance because that's what it's all about.
I think if a celebrity makes like a formal apology and promises maybe never to do something like that, like what they did ever again, then maybe they can be forgiven. But in most cases, like in Chris Brown's case, I don't think he should be forgiven. He definitely shouldn't have won an award or anything like that.
And what about those infamous political scandals? Most recently, Rush Limbaugh made headlines for calling Sandra Fluke a slut on his nationally syndicated radio show. Or what about former Representative Anthony Weiner's inappropriate picture scandal? Should our politicians be held to a stricter standard? Or do their positions on the issues need to outweigh their personal choices?
For politicians in particular, like when they make policies and things like on things maybe about sex, drugs, and then it's just kind of like there's a scandal behind it, and it's just like, how are you going to make a rule and you're not going to enforce it? Things like that. That's what I have issues with. So I think politicians may be held to a little bit of a higher standard. Celebrities, personal and professional life, completely separate.
As public servants, I think they should be held to a higher standard, especially kind of like putting our welfare in their hands. And when you sign up to be a public servant, I feel like you sign up to have a higher standard than normal community.
Politicians are in control of our everyday life, so their standards are a whole different ballgame because their decisions dictate the way that I'm going to be living,
right.
The taxes I'm going to be paying, the kind of work I'm going to be doing, unfortunately. So their lives have to be a whole different standard. They're a different kind of celebrity.
I think politicians should be held to a higher standard just because they're responsible for making like our laws and legislature. So they should. I think we should have more of a right to investigate their lives, but celebrities not so much.
I think that their issues are the most important things because that's the basis on which they're going to be running this country. But at the same time, I wouldn't want, for example, someone who participates in domestic violence or something like that to be running my country because I don't support them as a person. So I don't want to support them as a politician and leader of my country. So while I do believe that their politics are the most important thing, I feel that we should not overlook what they do in their personal lives.
I don't know about you guys in the studio, but I think there's just certain things that can't be forgiven. Reporting from Thousand Oaks, California, I'm Alexa Foss. Back to you guys in the studio.